We all know the quiet dread of watching the clock, the slow, creeping realization that youth fades, bodies change, and the vibrancy we once took for granted is slowly turning to dust. William Shakespeare spent much of his career documenting this decay. He addressed his fair youth sequence to a young man whose beauty and future appeared to be without end. On the surface, these poems celebrate that perfection, but beneath the language is a specific, dark acknowledgement. Time destroys everything it touches. The clock never pauses. No amount of influence can stop physical decline, making every moment strictly temporary, and every change inevitable. This forces a question humanity has struggled with since we first realized we were mortal. If we cannot stop time, how do we survive our own existence? Shakespeare offers a solution in Sonnet 11. He avoids magical thinking or spiritual platitudes, opting instead for a precise, calculated intellectual bargain to outsmart the ticking clock. This 400-year-old text serves as a psychological survival manual for anyone trying to face down their own expiration date. Shakespeare starts by reframing how we look at growing older. He argues that aging is a process of transference rather than a system of simple loss. Think of it as nature's balance sheet. As vitality shrinks in one person, energy transfers to the next. The total beauty stays the same. Nature acts as a gardener. We are planted, bloom, and are harvested in a continuous season. Comparing human life to an endless seasonal loop removes the illusion of human permanence. Accepting this reality creates a deep emotional duality. There is sadness in knowing that nothing we are lasts forever, but there is also comfort realizing our physical changes are part of a grand natural design. To Shakespeare, the tragedy isn't that a flower eventually dies. The tragedy is the possibility that the flower might die without ever dropping a seed. Shakespeare shifts the blame away from the passage of time and identifies a specific villain, the threat of interruption. We have to view this through a 16th century lens. During the Renaissance, a person's legacy and victory over death were tied to their descendants. The poem suggests that nature carefully carves people for specific purposes. If you possess grace, intelligence, or beauty, but refuse to pass those gifts forward, you are committing a crime against nature's effort. Shakespeare wants the young man to feel the weight of this choice. He uses relentless imagery of decay to create ticking clock emotional pressure, reminding the listener that the end is approaching whether they wanted to or not. The speaker maintains a calm, logical tone throughout the sonnet, but underneath the words is a quiet panic. It sounds like someone trying to reason with death before it arrives. In this context, biological reproduction wasn't a private lifestyle decision. It was a sacred, mandatory duty to keep the machinery of life running forward. As the poem progresses, it reveals a central philosophical paradox. Mortality itself is the exact mechanism that creates meaning in our lives. If we had infinite time, nothing would matter. Without the constant threat of endings, there would be no urgency and therefore no value in our youth or our beginnings. We don't need to accept the 16th century focus on biological reproduction to feel the weight of this argument. The core logic translates to our modern, secular reality. While the surface of the sonnet debates biology, the subtext is entirely about the terror of human impermanence. Shakespeare tapped into a psychological truth that remains valid today. Our ultimate fear isn't simply the act of dying. It is the fear of vanishing completely, leaving no trace that we were ever here. We still try to satisfy this bargain with time today. We attempt to cheat death by leaving behind art, building a business, championing an idea, or simply creating a memory in someone else. This universal drive to leave something behind is our way of demanding proof that our existence actually mattered. Sonnet 11 continues to endure because it takes the passive panic of watching ourselves age and transforms it into an active, powerful drive to build a lasting legacy. Shakespeare provides a map for the human soul's desperate, beautiful attempt to